Have you ever watched The Purge?
Yes.
You know what it's about?
Yes.
So in Illinois, the governor or the mayor, whoever this guy is, has passed a real purge law, apparently.
As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal.
The Safety Act that was passed in Illinois is taking social media by storm. Many are expressing concerns about their safety in the state. According to the law in Illinois, around 400 criminals will be released due to an act that was passed in 2020. However, people are worried about the safety of their families and loved ones, so they have taken to social media to voice their concerns. The Safety Act passed by the Illinois Criminal Justice Reform will lead to the release of certain suspects charged with felonies like second-degree murder, aggravated battery, and arson. The act passed in 2020 will release more than 400 criminal defendants. This is mad.
I just want to know why.
We send people to prison to punish them for the things that they've done in society, right? Now, I understand that there's a lot of people that don't do crimes, or there's a sum of people that get unfairly locked away. But releasing 400 dangerous criminals, cashless bail, they're not going to get bailed out. They can be released. The police can't even go after them for 48 hours. It really feels like America is falling into like complete anarchy. Like everyone is at each other's necks. It's left this, right, that, and now this. Like I can't understand the logic behind this.
Yeah, that's what I'm struggling to understand as to why this would even need to be implemented. Like why is it being done?
In cases involving murder or armed robbery, judges will detain defendants under the new law if they find that the defendant poses a real and present threat to the safety of a specific identifiable person or persons. What do you mean? If someone has murdered and you let them out of prison, what do you think is going to happen again? I'm not saying that every single person that has killed someone is going to kill again, but are you really going to feel safe with that person back in your neighborhood?
It just makes everything that has been done in the past irrelevant. Let's just imagine the person who got killed in their family and what they went through. Then let's imagine the police officers and what they had to do to get this person in. Then let's imagine all the court cases that took place. All of that was done basically for nothing because you're just going to let these people back out in the wild and put everybody else at risk when you'd already done the right thing by getting someone dangerous off the roads.
See, people have this misconception about prison, or at least I think it's a misconception. The primary function of a prison is not to rehabilitate you. They can rehabilitate you. There should be some sort of rehabilitation program, but the primary function of a prison is to remove dangerous people from society and punish them for their wrongdoings. Now, as I said, there are people that get unfairly detained. There are people that are accused of things that they haven't been done. They go to prison. But the basis of a prison is to detain someone for committing a crime and punish them. Segregate them from society. There is a reason why we segregate these kinds of people. If they are a violent criminal, if it's second-degree murder, if it's armed robbery, in a lot of cases with armed robbery, there's some sort of violence that's taken place as well. Releasing these people back into the wild is literally a recipe for disaster. You are endangering so many people in Illinois and wherever else they're going to pass this stupid bill if this becomes a widespread thing. This is stupid beyond reason.
I think it's selfish, and selfish for what reason? What could possibly be the reason that they feel the need to do this?
I really think that I think something nefarious is going on behind the scenes. This makes no sense whatsoever.
It doesn't.
This act will strip judges of their right to issue a warrant to an absent defender. Rather, they will have to send a court order asking them to appear before the court. What is the point in having a justice system at this point?
It makes no sense because it's basically saying they can't chase them for up to 48 hours. But what? So after 48 hours, if they're still about, you're going to spend time trying to get the same people back in prison who you already just had in prison. The whole thing makes no sense.
I've been reading articles about it, and they're saying that this opens up a can of worms for the residents and the citizens of Illinois, because this place becomes free reign for the cartel. At the very least, they can operate more freely. I've been reading a lot of different articles about how people are terrified now. I read some people saying that they're blowing this out of proportion. It's not going to be what you think it is. But America's already got a serious crime problem. A crime problem that has spiked significantly in the last 2 to 3 years. And then you're releasing up to 400 criminals, potentially more, into the streets. 400.
Yeah, the thing is as well, it's not just this area that's at risk though, because they're going to flee and go everywhere now. Do you know what I mean? Because they're going to want to get as far away as possible to essentially make sure that they don't get taken in again. So they could be going anywhere all over America, and just everyone's screwed now.
So these are the non-detainable offences that begin on the 1st of January. I'll read them to you one by one, and you tell me if you think that someone should be detained if they do this. Aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, and threatening a public official. These offenses mean that you cannot detain this person for doing these things. Non-detainable by 1st of January 2023. Now, this isn't exactly a purge scenario. They're not legalizing crime for 24 hours, but they are giving them much more free reign to do what they want and get away with it. A lot more people are going to get hurt because of this. I don't know what crack the guy was smoking that passed this, or whatever committee passed this, but they have got to be on something powerful, because this is one of the stupidest things I have ever seen.
There must be something more to it, otherwise it's just it's too random and it makes no sense.
So again, it's just so you guys understand, it abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. Individuals on electronic monitoring must be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. 48 hours. Do you know how much madness you can do in 48 hours? You know how much madness you can do in 48 minutes? If you've got someone that is seriously dangerous and violent, a lot of people are going to get hurt. A lot of people are going to die. It prohibits officers from removing trespassers from your residence or business. Someone trespasses on your house, you've got to figure out how much force you're going to use to get them off there. You may have to end up blowing a limb off somebody, or potentially taking their life, because this bill has been passed and the police can't do anything to help you.
But this is where it does appear and seem like an actual purge, because it's like that's now being allowed.
It's madness. Like, you could open up a business, someone trespasses, you tell them to leave your property, they say no, nothing you can do. Now you've got to figure out whether you use some sort of deadly force or not, or just let them do what they want. And then wait 48 hours before the police can even chase them. What is the point in waiting 48 hours? Ain't the police first responders? I mean, it's not a full-blown purge, but this is as close as you're going to get to it before you actually do a purge.
So is their phone lines practically just going to be not being answered?
I don't know, man. I don't know if this is something that some defund the police nonsense. If they pass this shit in the UK, people need to stand up and do something. This is nonsense. Yeah. America is full of guns. There are more guns than people. And I'm not one of those people that is against owning a gun. I've heard a lot of people saying that, like, you should take away everyone's guns. People shouldn't have a right to bear arms. Do you think people don't have a right to bear arms now in Illinois? The first thing I do when I hear this law is buy a gun, because I have no idea who's going to break into my house and the police ain't going to help me. But you want to take away people's guns.
Yeah, it's every man for themselves by this point.
I know guns cause problems, but they also solve problems as well. And the police, the guy's literally telling you, we can't help you. We're going to release 400 criminals back onto the streets. Let's say half of them go back to committing a life of crime. 200 people are back on the streets committing all sorts of crimes, and they can't respond for 48 hours. So good luck, Illinois. Whoever voted this mayor in or this governor, whoever passed this, you need to get them the hell out of there.
They're all to blame as well.
They are going to get you all killed.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there.